Welcome! If you're watching this video, that means you are enrolled in the College of Liberal Arts in Communication major. If you're not, well, it doesn't hurt to widen your knowledge of a communication major. In this video, I shall tell you what to do in a communication major, what are the sources you need to find, and where can you find the sources and where to study. Now, if you follow me, I shall give you a tour of Beering Hall of the College of Liberal Arts and Communication major. As you all know, or might not know, in the College of Liberal Arts and Communication major, there are 5 communications that you can choose from, which is General Communication, Mass Communication, Human Relations, Public Relations, and my personal favorite, Corporate Communication, which I am trying to be enrolled in. But I cannot choose Corporate Communication just yet because I have to complete 3 pre-com classes, which I'll explain furthermore. But before I explain to that, I will give you a brief history of this building. This is Stephen Claus Beering. He was the president of Purdue University from 1983 to 2000. And in honor of his name, the former Liberal Arts Education Building, or LAEB, was renamed Beering Hall. Now, to continue about what I was saying just now, there are 3 pre-com classes that you have to complete before you can be enrolled in the communication major, which are COM 102, 204, and 318. These COM you have to complete with a minimum GPA of 3.0 and no lesser than a C grade. This office that you're seeing right now is your advisor's office. You'll be spending quite some time here every semester to apply for your classes. Especially in a liberal arts communication major, that is where your advisor will be. Moving along, down here is where the computer labs are located, which we will tour later on. But first, we are going to the 2nd floor. In the 2nd floor is basically where all the professor and TA's offices are located. And right here to the left is Brian Webb School of Communication Reception. In here, you can find most of the office of the professors and teachers you are looking for. Why you need to know this place is because sometimes there will be assignments that you need to hand in, and that is the place where you should go to put in the papers. So either you can go to their office, or there will be a place for you to just put in your papers. Moving along, I want to show you one of the office of the professor that I interviewed, and she helped me to better understand what is required in a communication major. Her name is Dr. Susan Morgan, and this is her office. Along when I was interviewing her, she gave me a few insights of how to survive in communication major and the website we can use. The website is cla.purdue.edu/communication. That has a lot of information, and it doesn't hurt to check it out. While making a paper in communication, she said it is always important that we have to use an APA-style format and always have to have credible sources. We can find these sources in the HSSE library, which I'll discuss later, and ProQuest, which is from the website. Now, for me to further explain that you can understand where you can get your sources, we shall go downstairs to the basement to the computer lab, where I'll give you a guide on how to access this ProQuest, and also how to survive in the writing of communication major. Along the steps to the basement, in the Beering Hall of the computer lab, in the Beering Hall of the computer lab, most of the computers always have class sessions. So when you come down here, make sure you always check and see the sign. If it says open, then you are free to go in. But if it says it's class is in session, you are not permitted to go in at all until the class is over. Here you can see that there are a lot of computers, and you can access it once you become a Purdue student with your Purdue login ID. I'll give you a demonstration on how to access your sources. Once you log in to the website, type in www.lib.purdue.edu. Once you type in this, it will direct you to the Purdue Library online website. There are a lot of functions that you can learn, but I'm only going to focus in 2 tabs, which is database and search data. In database, as Dr. Morgan has said, you should go to the ProQuest. Once you find this ProQuest in the database, you click Go. and it will direct you to Procast Research Library. Here, you shall type in the book or the sources or the theories that you want to research on, and when you type it, it will give you a link of many sources that you can find. Here is a specific book that I'm trying to find, and it has the full text of it. Sometimes it offers you PDF, it sometimes offers you where you can find the book, and sometimes it offers you to buy the book. Here I want to find the book because it does not offer the PDF, so I cannot research on it. So I must find the book, and that's why I will go back to the library.purdue, and I'll just click the search beta. This is a new function. And this search, I type in the title of the book that I was looking for just now, and it will give me the image of the book and where I can find it. Here, the thing that I'm about to block says that it is located in the HSSE library, which is located in Stewart. But it's currently checked out, so I cannot get the book right now. But usually there's a 2-hour timeline where the book has to be returned. So next, the last thing I want to show you about the communication major is the papers. In order to survive, you must be able to understand how to make a paper for a communication major, and you must be able to cite the sources that you receive. And here I used a lot of sources to give credentials to my paper, and they have cited them in every theory that I give to give me credibility. And when you're done, do not ever forget to have an APA reference sheet, because that is most important to say where you got your credentials. Now let's move on. Here is the Humanities Social Science Education Library. In this library is where you can find some communication resources book. I have found this place thanks to my TA. Her name was Paula Hoppe. She told me that most of the sources that she uses for her papers were found here in the library. So I looked around and I actually found where it was located. Most of the books are located in the second floor. And now I'll give you a guide where you can find those books. Along the road, I'll give you some tips before we reach the destination. The far most important thing for you to know to survive in a communication major is that you have to be prepared to read and read and read. There will be a lot of articles and research papers that you are required to read, and you have to be able to analyze which are credible sources that you can use. That is far most important thing. Another thing is, you must always never forget to have you cite the sources so you will get credible and you can avoid what is called plagiarism. In a communication major, plagiarism is totally frowned upon and is not permitted at all. If you commit a plagiarism, you can be expelled from Purdue University. So the two important things are that you have to be prepared to read and research a lot of papers, and always do not forget to cite the sources. Now we are almost where to the books of communication are. It's located on the right-hand side of this shelf. And here are the books. Lastly, the secret to survive in a communication major is